The XF 23mm f1.4 LMWR that I'm shooting this intro with right now was announced last November and finally released at the end of February 2022. Then you've got the supply delay that's affecting brands all over the planet. So the big question is it worth the wait? Well, of course, Fujifilm already have an XF 23mm f1.4, which for the sake of time, we'll refer to as the Mark 1, which is smaller, lighter, and has the manual focus clutch that a lot of manual focus shooters love, or at least prefer. Fujifilm also have an XF 23mm f2 with a pocketable form factor, but softer close-ups, wide open. And of course, the X100 series uses a 23mm lens too, the latest version being pretty nice. Finally, Viltrox have a 23mm that works very well as a hybrid lens. In fact, I've used it on a number of these videos since it's come out. So what's the story with this new lens? Is it the 23mm to beat them all? Let's check it out. Our 23mm gives us a full frame equivalent of 34.5mm with an angle of view of 63.4. There are 9 diaphragm blades, 15 elements in 10 groups. Now, typically for Fujifilm, you've got a nice quality clicked aperture ring running from 1.4 to 16, and you've got the aperture lock there too. So that is business as usual, and what fine business it is. Manual focusing ring, smooth, steady, no problems at all. I don't really use manual focusing with these lenses, but it's nice as it is. Now we're getting a closest focusing distance of 19 centimeters, so that's 10 centimeters closer than the Mark 1 version. A little bit of dust on there. Anyway, maximum magnification 0.2 times, double that of the Mark 1. Filter size 58mm. You can see there's a protector on there. The Mark 1 has a 62mm thread, as you saw. There's a lens hood, nice clicky quality, weather sealed this time, unlike the Mark 1. Big selling point for many. And weight wise, 375 grams. It feels light in the hand, but it is 25% heavier than the Mark 1 and also 15 centimeters longer. After some use, I really do like it. It feels and performs spot on my T4. In fact, I'm still using it now. Nothing wrong with some extra sample footage, even if it means I'm not going to be waving the lens about like this as usual. Now, I think the additional length of the lens will be noticeable for users of smaller bodies. Also, manual focusing is a little bit loose, at least on this copy. If you're really particular about that, it's a case of getting your hands on a try before you buy if possible and seeing how you get on. Please let us know in the comments below how you feel about the manual focusing if you've tried this lens. Now, autofocus is brilliant. Face detection, as you can probably guess, works very well and in stills the focus is fast and accurate, nigh on silent too. That linear focus motor is spot on. And with the newer bodies, we should see even better autofocus performance. Anyway, here's a very random test in my gym/studio with a familiar face to help us out. Optically, there's not really much to complain about for an event or a street shooter, for example. The lens is just sharp, and that's right across the frame, unlike other 23mm lenses for X-mount. Colours render beautifully, fringing is really kept to a minimum, contrast is excellent, and vignetting is barely noticeable, even wide open. The 0.2 times magnification is very welcome, and the lens works a treat shooting close up and wide open. The image quality certainly holds up with this one. Distortion is very well corrected, and flaring is also well controlled. Honestly, these new lenses are way more exciting in use than on paper, and frankly, isn't that how it's supposed to be? Get your hands on them. Let us know in the comments below how you feel about them. Is it worth it then? Well, at £819, really the only thing I can moan about, and it's a very common story these days, is the price. But it is the best 23mm for Fujifilm, unless you're a manual focus shooter. As the new cameras start to roll out, we'll see even better performance, as this lens is designed for the next generations that are going to start hitting the shelves this year, starting with the H2S. Now, I'm super happy with it on my X-T4, and honestly, I could definitely use this in my wedding and events work. You know, the temptation is real. But what about that Mark 1? Well, they float around 446 second-hand or 629 new, and yes, they are still available at the time of recording, so maybe that's more tempting to you. You get a distance scale, depth of field scale, it's lighter, it's shorter. Maybe you don't need the ultimate edge-to-edge image quality or weather sealing, and that clutch is much more practical for your style of shooting. Yes, that Mark 1 has plenty of potential for a lot of shooters, and as usual, prices are slowly dropping with this new version finally reaching the consumer. Or, if you can't afford the latest and greatest, but want something suitable for stills and video, the Viltrox works wonders, and I've used it a lot on these videos. In fact, I was going to record this section now so I could wave the, this is a 33, wave the 23 around like a lunatic, but you know, it is what it is. I wanted to use this because I absolutely love it. Yes, this is sharper, but that Viltrox is also absolutely fine for my purposes. You know, this, even though it's in 4K, doesn't need to be that amazing. I mean, anyway, this new 23mm has really surprised me. Not the fact that it was so good, but that I enjoy it so much that I might have to buy my own.